Hello everyone, welcome to DevOps for Your Family. My name is Rajeshwaran. The topic which I am going to discuss today is all about cloud computing. Recent years, all the enterprise are moving towards the cloud, and what is the benefit or what is the use case we want to look for the cloud technology, or what we are going to achieve, or what is the benefit we are going to get as an enterprise level or a startup even. So I thought of just sharing few ideas or the input to you all. Okay, fine. So now, if we want to discuss about the benefit, we need to understand the capex, opex, and the ROI. So the capex, in the sense, what is the capital investment or expenditure we are going to invest for our business to run, and what is the operation cost we need to plan for the operation uh, run, and what is the ROI, ultimately the return of investment. So considering all these benefit, for example, we all know, like, if I want to start a company, or maybe one of my friend want to start up a company, he come and ask to me, what is the approach I can go with if I want to start a startup. Okay, so if my friend, my suggestion will be, I will advise him to choose any one of the cloud provider. There are multiple cloud provider in the market, and there are two main, I can say, the most popular to me in the cloud technologies. One is Azure, another one is AWS, and yeah, and there are also a lot many in the business or the market. GCP, like Google Cloud is there, and Alibaba Cloud, and many more. And my focus only on Azure and AWS. So first, if my friend want to have a startup, so and he planning to start uh, maybe a web application or a gaming product he want to launch in all over the world. Okay, it's not our target. His target audience will be over all the world, not only to any specific region or country. So in that case, if he want to uh, if he want to set up the fundamental, or I can say the infrastructure, do you think like he need to have the office setup for all the infrastructure? It's only all about first the initial step to set up the infrastructure. For example, like maybe he need almost, first let's consider he planning to deploy one region. Okay, for we can target India. Then he will be just planning to buy one or maybe 50 servers, physical servers. Then he is hosting his gaming platform. And do you think if we want to spread this all over the world, is it not that much possible to deploy, or I can say set up the infrastructure cost and all the other constraint was that to get the data center, physical hardware, he need to look for a vendor, and he need to get into the finance approval. Once that is done, and the vendor may take another 30 days or 40 days, or I can say minimum 1 month to deliver all the servers. Once that is done, he need a local infra team to set up all the infrastructure for the underlying his website to launch all over the world. Okay, and this is something I'm not saying this is something not possible. That is possible, very much possible, but the time and the delivery, or I can say reaching to market, is priority nowadays for all the enterprise, right? If we are not reaching to the market with the fastest delivery to our customer, then we are not going to achieve, or I can say the business is not that much well set up. So considering all of this, for example, if I choose, or my if I suggest my friend to choose like Azure, maybe let us go focus on Azure now, and my upcoming video I'll be talking about all the AWS related stuff. So consider, I am suggesting him to go with Azure now. Okay, so he may ask what is the benefit. So the benefit is first high availability, in the sense Azure has around and the world, while they are having the regions. Okay, so if one of the server going down here, he may get the high availability in the other zones in the Azure regions. Okay, and that is a one big thing. There will be a region, and in within the region they are having the availability zone. For example, if you take India, in India they will having a like set up in Chennai. I will walk you through like the Azure portal, or I can say simply like data center. Yeah, this is the best site I can say. So wait a second. Yeah, so Azure has these many regions: Asia, Pacific, Australia, China, India, Israel. You can just read this one, and this is Europe region, Africa, and within this one they are having like, for example, they are having a availability zone in each region. So availability in the zones, a region is a geographic area. Within the geography they are having the availability zone. It's an isolated data center, but well connected data center between the availability zone. So if you want to deploy any servers, you can deploy in two regions for the redundancy and the high availability within the region. And you can also able to replicate or deploy the things in the other pad region. For example, if I want to deploy something in West Europe, and there is another pad region called North Europe, or you can say in India is a, you can deploy servers in Chennai or somewhere else, and you can able to deploy other servers in Singapore. Yeah, so these are the things we are having in Azure. So if you see North Europe, West Europe, and Germany, in India, Central India, Pune, South India, Chennai, West India, Mumbai, and these are the India's region, and three. This is the location, and they are having the availability zone within the Chennai. They may have more availability zone which is interconnected. Fine. So now coming to this one, the high availability. So he no need to go and get any data center for redundancy within the region, or it may be in the different region. And scalability. For example, currently if the traffic to my friend website. It's on the normal day it will be 1,000 user, and in weekend maybe it may reach up to 1 lakh, 1 lakh or more than that. If that is the case, you need a solution to automatically scale in and scale out. What is mean by scale in and scale out? Like the backend of the infrastructure should scale out. It means it should able to handle the request, and whenever there is a less traffic, the infrastructure should scale in. So that is called scale in, scale out. So in Azure, that can be achieved by virtual machine scale set, that is VMSS, and the elasticity. So what is mean by elasticity? Like for example, if we are having an on-prem file server or maybe any object storage, there is a limitation. Like if there is if the storage is reached to a near limit, we need to buy our order. Maybe in a proactive manner we will be ordering that disk, and we need to ensure it's our responsibility to keep all the uh, infrastructure ready for to serve our end users or maybe our customers, right? So in Azure, there is storage. There are many storage, and the most object storage, I can say it's a storage account. It's unlimited, and by default we will get 5 TB. And if you create a data lake storage, and again there will be a standard and premium. If you create a premium storage account, then you can put unlimited storage. It's called elasticity, right? So we are not limited with any file size. That is called elasticity and flexibility. So now, in case if my friend is not going for the cloud technology, so if we buy a server, for example, if some case the he want to shut down few servers for any maintenance or whatever it may be, okay? So in that case, even the capex or the investment he put, it's not returnable. Like he cannot able to just return back the server to the vendor, and after 3 days he cannot go and ask the vendor to give the machine back, right? That is not possible in our normal traditional era. So that is one more benefit or ultimate benefit we are getting as a customer. For example, we are having a dev or test or POC or whatever the less utilized environment. There will be a couple of options: pay as you go, reserved instance for reserved concept in Azure, like pay as you go. Like if you deploy any services, and that will be get charged, that is a pay as you go. And there is the enterprise agreement, that is a different story. And like your business is growing and your projection plan is to have that business for another 3 years or 5 years. Uh, that is a projection plan in our pipeline. So we need to get a reserved instance, and for 1 year or maybe 3 years commitment. So that I will explain this in like my upcoming video with more in-depth analysis or in-depth input, with in-depth input what is reserved instance. But it's a overall thing, we can able to just go with that flexibility. Also, if you are enterprise, you can able to bring your own license. For example, you are deploying any machines, OS, like not machines inside that one. Obviously we are having a OS. Like if you have the on-prem license, like something enterprise level agreement, whatever it may be, the latest OS, While deploying that one, you may able to use that license. That will drastically reduce your cost of the VM, like that is called BYOL, bring your own licenses. And cost saving. So flexibility and cost saving, it's, I can say it's kind of like a hand to hand like integration. So it's have a dependency. So the explanation, or I can say the integration between the flexibility and cost saving, I have already explained what are the benefit. And the last one is security. And Azure having a very tightly coupled security mechanism. For example, we can enable MFA for a two-factor authentication as additional of like a username and password, and we can also enable SSO, and there will be a lot of more access privileges, and we can able to control airbag, all those stuffs, and the energy rules, firewall rules from the VM level, NIC level, or the subnet level. Yeah, so these are the security things that we are going to discuss in very detail. So yeah, overall, this is the benefit is my friend is getting if he planning to move to any one of the cloud technology or the platform. Yeah, and I was just given the priority to Azure and yeah, obviously AWS. So what is the hierarchy? So if you are going with Azure, so the hierarchy is like this. The first account, the it's called the email what you are going to register with is Azure, can call that as a tenant name. Okay, so inside that tenant we are having a management group. Under the management group we can create a number of subscriptions. Okay, under the subscription there will be a resource group we need to create. For example, resource group is nothing but a container. Inside the container we need to create all of our resources in the sense whatever we are going to deploy in Azure. For example, I can list out a number of resources like a VNet, subnet, route table, and virtual machine load balancer, application load balancer, and MySQL, or I can say the SQL database or web app. Everything what we are going to create in Azure portal, that is called resources, Azure ARM. Okay, and what are the Azure resources in specific to networking? I I just grabbed this one, thought of just even giving an overview what is the network related component, and then my upcoming video I will discuss all the other components. Okay, so in the networking we are having the virtual network. So what is virtual network? Virtual network is a fundamental way of isolating your network in any cloud platform. In Azure, it's called virtual network, and AWS, it's called VPC. And subnet remains same for both Azure and AWS. And we are having load balancer, that is Azure standard load balancer layer 4 load balancer, and in Azure it's called load balancer. In AWS that is called NLB, network load balancer, and application gateway, Azure application gateway. This is a layer 7. It works on application layer, so it has the capability of we can implement more security related. We can integrate WAF, like a web application firewall, and there is called one thing WOSAP, like a open web application security profile community. That is we can able to integrate all those rules. We can able to integrate custom rules in that application layer. And the benefit of application layer, if you create application layer, you can able to route the traffic based on the host name, URL, or path based. It's possible with the backend. So the way how it works, we need to create a application gateway or the load balancer. We need to create a backend pool. Then There will be a front-end IP, that is your application gateway, the load balancer IP, and we will be having the backend pool in. After that, we will be having a backend setting, and there will be a listener port, and there is a health check to continuously perform the health check of your backend pool. And yeah, we will see the demo of application load balancer and Azure Firewall Manager. This is, I can say, the firewall manager to just route the traffic. For example, if you are having any VM or web app deployed, you should able to, you are not supposed to allow a traffic directly to the internet. Every traffic, ingress and egress traffic, needs to be filtered or logged by any firewall. So we are in Azure, we are using Azure Firewall, and in AWS, it's AWS Firewall Manager. And Azure Bastion, it's a service, like it's kind of a jump server. I think it's again an organization decision whether they need to go with Bastion service or not, because if a user want to just log into, connect to any of the servers, he need to just create uh, log into the portal, and you can able to connect the server using bash 10. And more obviously, like companies or enterprise may use point to site VPN, or uh, maybe site to site. If the customers spread across the world, they can use point to site, Azure point to site VPN. It between the corporate office, they can use site to site VPN, or maybe the express route. So these are the technologies they need for the connection. And traffic manager, again, it's a DNS based solution to route the traffic. And in AWS, it's called Route 53. And network watcher, it's a tool to for we can use this network watcher service for any troubleshooting related service. Yeah. And Azure Express Route, this is again, as I said before, it's a connectivity between your on-prem and your branch office to your Azure. And the difference between Azure site-to-site VPN and Express, site-to-site, it goes to the public, but it's a, uh, I can say, site-to-site, it's encryption, but again, it's using the path as a public. And Express route, it's kind of a dedicated link. It's from the customer side to Azure. And private link, actually, this is one of them. This in the security, I thought of discuss this one. So if you are creating any storage account or any SQL database, everything you can able to access those from publicly. Again, we need to allow the firewall rules for SQL. That is another security things. But again, if you want to control all your resources, you can create a private endpoint, and you need to create a private endpoint that will be assigned with a private IP. For example, if you are creating a file share, and if you are creating any SQL database, so you no need to allow that publicly accessible. That service should only able to access within your VNet. That means within your Azure network. Yeah, that's called that one. And VPN gateway, this kind of a service, this is for while creating the site-to-site VPN gateway, Azure VPN gateway is for entry point where your connection get terminated. And another other thing is in AWS, I think private link, there will be a two kind of private link. I can say uh, one is the interface gateway, and another one is something called interface endpoint. and another one is called something related to S3 and DynamoDB. We have access gateway endpoint. Yeah, I got it. Gateway endpoint and enterprise endpoint. These are the two private services available to access the service within the AWS. And the next one is CDN. So CDN is nothing but a content delivery network. We all aware about the Netflix, right? How the Netflix is serving. So yeah, so this is your content or the static pages that will be deployed or hosted into any storage account in Azure, so that you can get that cache to where, for example, Netflix is operating from US, right? So they can able to upload their file in the storage account which is in the US region, and if they enable the CDN service, Azure has a POP that is called point of service. So all the content that will be cached to the present point of present that uh, cached location in all over the world. So the user won't get any performance, or I can say latency, while accessing the content. And in AWS, the CDN service is called Azure AWS CloudFront. And Azure Front Door, yeah, Azure Front Door is again an interesting. It's I can say advance of the Azure Application Gateway. The only difference between the load balancer and application gateway, they are all regional specific services, and the Azure Front Door and I can say the traffic manager are not specific region, it's a global service. And the last one, web application firewall. And this web application firewall, I can say this kind of a, we can integrate with our application gateway. This is again additional security layer that will give an extra layer for all your application, that will to like protect your web application for some attacks. And in Azure, there will be a default DDoS protection basic is there. If you want, you have to enable the standard one. That will cost you an extra uh, cost for you. And yes, so I think I have covered few Azure resources which I aware, and little bit of A services, AWS services related to Azure and AWS. Yes, thank you guys. Thanks for watching, and let me continue this other demo, the Azure related information, resource information in my upcoming weeks. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Good day. Bye.